Hi my lovely Frosty fam, it's me, Karen Frost, here at Nail Decadence, and I've got another acrylic video for you. So I'm going to be using these mixes that I mixed myself, those two purples. I mixed those colours. If you would like to know how I mix my acrylic colours myself, there is a link in the cards to a video of how I mix my custom acrylic colours. So yeah, go and check that out if you are interested. And yeah, so I use Nao products mostly, and this video is no exception. So I'm using my Nao acrylics and my high-speed monomer, and I'm using my SPD London oval number 14 Kolinsky brush. It's a cool brush, it's soft but not too soft, so you can, you know, work with it obviously. And yeah, no, I enjoy it. I've got excuse me, I've got the size 12 and I've got the size 14. They're awesome brushes. I've got other brushes as well, but my SPD London ones are one of my favourites. I have already prepped the nails, tipped them and applied a thin clear base layer to the nails. So now it is time for me to create a reverse smile line. So what I'm doing is I'm adding that first bead and sculpting it with my brush to the rough shape that I'm going for, and then I'll add my cuticle bead behind that, get my cuticle nice and area, that is, cuticle area nice and neat, and then blend that over the previous bead. And then as you saw there, I managed to stab it with my brush. I had to fix that corner a little bit there. So I will let that set up and I move on to the ring finger, and on this nail I am using the Cover Pink, and I'm going to do a thin layer. I'm not at this point I'm not adding the structure. You can build the structure with the Cover Pinks, that's not a problem if that's how you'd like to do it. I personally like to cap everything, so I use my colours as just that, as design powders. I use them as colours only. So I'm applying just a thin opaque layer of the Cover Pink on that entire nail, and I will be capping it later on with clear. So for now, all I'm looking for is not structure, I'm just looking for even coverage of the colour. So I'll leave that alone, let that set up as well. Moving on to the index finger, and I will be using that deep dark purple at the free edge, blending it up the middle of the nail and fading it out because I'm going to be doing an ombre and I don't want a harsh line or a, you know, shadowing underneath the lighter purple. So I'm just, you know, fade it back, and then I can bring in a bead of the light purple, add it just above where that dark purple ended, then fade that over the dark purple, blend out the back of the bead so that it's nice and flat, so that when I add this cuticle bead that I'm doing now, it won't have a ledge to get over. So I get that cuticle nice and neat, and then bring down the rest of that bead and blend it into the previous bead, and just work on my ombre here and there. Leave that to set up, and I will then move back to the middle finger, back to the reverse French, and I'll use that darker purple right up against that wall that I built up with the Cover Pink. And as you've noticed, I did not file this smile line in. I was actually really happy with it, the way I shaped it with my brush, so there was no need to file it in. I'm not bothering about worrying that it's going over the top of the Cover Pink, because I will file that away to reveal this sharp line of that French, which is excuse me, the whole point. So yeah, make sure it goes right up the wall, and that way you get a nice crisp French smile line kind of thing. So I've just added some of the lighter purple and I'm blending that into an ombre. So it's kind of like the ombre is opposite to the index finger. I'm just using the tiniest of beads to get this ombre the way I want it to look. I'm just going to add a thin layer of clear acrylic now, And then I will add some of these mylar flakes, which are really pretty when they hit the light. I'm just adding a few of those here and there, not too many. And then I'm adding some of these holographic glitter pieces, which are really cute. Out of that bag that you saw me show you in the beginning, I just picked out a few bits that I liked and thought I might use and put them in a little tray. And then as I went along, I picked out which bits I fancied using, and yeah, just used some clear acrylic to stick them in. I've got some of the larger bits and I've got some of the smaller bits, so I'm just adding quite a few of those. There we go. And now I'm just adding another bit of clear acrylic just over the top to hold them in place, and then because it kind of fits when you use slightly you know, a runnier bead, it fits in between the crevices really well. So if you go in with that, you know, a smaller bead first and then go in with your bigger bead, you're less likely to get air pockets. So yeah, anyway, so then I will cap the rest of this side of the nail. So I'm just capping the French area. I'm not capping the cover pink area because that still needs to be filed in to make sure that I get my smile lines nice and neat. So I'll let that set up, and then on the ring finger I have added a little bit of clear acrylic. I'm sticking some of the mylar flakes into that in just a, you know, flourish from cuticle to free edge on the nail. Let that set up a little bit. I've gone back to the index finger and I've picked up a small bead of clear acrylic and I've picked up this glitter mix, and I'm just adding that again in just a flourish from cuticle to free edge. This got some big pieces in this glitter. Can you see those big hexagons? They're huge. So yeah, just picking up bits of those glitters, some little ones and some of the bigger ones, and just placing them on the nail where I want them in that flourish from, like I said, from cuticle to free edge. And once I'm happy with it, I will let them set up. Oh, did you see that little diamond bit? It's got so many bits in it. It's awesome. Awesome glitter mix. So cool. So I'm just adding some clear acrylic as well, just to make sure that they sit in place. And I'll let that set up, and I'll move to the little finger, and I'm doing a full nail of this massive glitter mix. I say massive because it is got so much in it. Oh, just amazing. Look at that holographic gorgeousness. It's got so much in it. I don't know how Sarah comes up with these mixes, but they are just awesome, absolutely awesome. So I'm adding just a little bits of clear acrylic where necessary, and then I'll just use my damp brush to pick up more glitter where I need it. So I'm going for full coverage, so I want to make sure there are no bare areas. And because this is a multi-mix, it's got little bits of glitter in it as well as huge pieces, so you can get full coverage out of a nail, not a problem. Just have to work with it a little bit, and here and there maybe pick out some bigger pieces and be strategic where you put them so that you can see them, kind of thing. But yeah, just with tiny beads of clear acrylic you can do that with the glitters. I never pre-mix them. I just pick up the acrylic with my brush and dip it straight into the raw glitter and apply them that way. I'd have a million pots if I did it, if I mixed every glitter with clear acrylic. Well, yeah, no, I don't have space for that. So I'm just picking up some of those other bigger pieces and putting them on as well. Now I will cap that index finger now that the glitter has set in place and won't move. So clear bead of acrylic, and this is quite a wet bead because, like I said, I want to let the clear acrylic seep in and around all of those glitter pieces without any air pockets. So if you use a slightly wetter bead on your first bead, it just flows over everything and secures it nicely. Then you can go in with your normal sort of beads and build up your apex, build up the structure and shape of your nail whilst you're encapsulating that glitter and protecting it from being filed away. So you want to add enough so that you've got enough to file and you won't file into your glitter, and also to make sure, like I said, you've got your apex. Must have your apex there, otherwise you will have a weak nail, and we don't want a weak nail. The apex doesn't have to be humongous, not by any means, but it does need to be present, so just bear that in mind. So I will just add as many beads as it takes, and any areas where I think that I haven't placed my clear acrylic, I will just add tiny beads wherever necessary to make sure that excuse me, make sure that nail is nice and even and encapsulated nicely. Sorry, I keep clearing my throat. I've just gotten over an awful cold. It was horrendous. It wasn't Rona, don't worry. But with the kids all going back to school, my little boy, well, he's taller than me now, but yeah, he's brought home this nasty cold, and I, with my weakened immune system, caught it, and yeah, it was a bit rough, definitely rough. I had swollen glands, I was coughing away, and it was horrible, but I'm over the worst of it now. I've just got a bit of a scratchy throat, which you can probably hear, and I keep clearing my throat because it's just, I'm still not quite there, but it's been over a week already, and I just wanted to make sure that I got this voiceover done, otherwise I wouldn't have a video for you guys next week, and I don't want that to happen. So yeah, I'm doing, yeah, trying to get my voiceovers done so that I can schedule my videos and not fall behind. I've got some momentum going with my uploads. I've been really good with Mondays and Thursdays, and I want to keep that going, so please excuse my scratchy voice. It is what it is. I just need to make sure that I'm getting my videos up for you guys. Trying to be consistent because I've let my channel fall by the wayside so many times, and I'm determined this year to, you know, give it a real go, properly go for it, as it were. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. So anyway, back to the nails. I'm just capping, that's all I'm doing, capping. Clear acrylic. Again, shape and structure is important. If you swipe your sides, you are more likely to keep your shape more defined. If you're not swiping your sides, you will lose your shape very, very quickly, and you will have more filing to do. It does happen, and you can save it by filing, but it's best to try and use your brush as much as possible to your advantage. We all have our off days where we don't apply quite as well as we should, but yeah, you can file it away, but nobody likes filing. I like watching it, I just don't like doing it. Anyway, so yes, speaking of filing, I'm filing that smile line because this is how we reveal it, and it looks so cool when you get that sharp, crisp line. It's so satisfying. So finished filing that smile line now, so I will add my strength and structure with my clear acrylic. Like I said, if you are wanting to, you most definitely can build your apex with the cover pink, then you wouldn't have to go back and add the clear like what I'm doing right now, but this is personal preference. I like the layer of clear over the top. It gives, to me, it gives the nails this glass effect that I really love. So for me, I like to cap everything, but you are most welcome not to. So anyway, I have filed the nails and shaped them off camera. So now it's time for the top coat. I'll top it off and keep it tough, and look at that. Oh my giddy aunt, look at that holographic lusciousness. Isn't that gorgeous? And the camera can't even focus on it. It's just too much. It's just too much. Anyway, I'm going to carry on top coating these nails, and then we'll get into the 3D flower work. Oh yes, doing a bit of 3D. I do like 3D acrylic flowers and stuff, but I'm not the best at it, and it's something I'm working on, but it's something I'm not working on as much as I should. I should really practice more, but yeah, I haven't. Anyway, so let's get on to this 3D acrylic flower. So what I have done is I've double dipped my bead, placed that onto the nail, and then used my brush to sort of spread it into a C sort of shape, half moon, and then I will pat it out using my brush at an angle and get it nice and flat, but not pancake flat, you know. I sort of wiggle my brush underneath it at certain points to just give it a bit of a wave and a bit of definition, so that it's not totally flat on the nail. It's just to give it that, yeah, the 3D effect. It's kind of, if you get your brush underneath those edges now and again, lift it up off the nail just a little bit, it will just give it a nice sort of ribbony flow. So I just add small beads and pat them out into petal shapes and keep going, working my way in, and as I'm working my way in, my beads will get smaller and smaller, so that I'm filling in and from the outside in. That way you're layering your petals on the edge of the previous one. That way it gains a little height, but not too much. So yeah, so with that final bead, I will use my brush to swipe it around in sort of a swirl to give it that kind of middle of the flower effect. And use my point and just really poke it. There's no other way to say it. I'm patting and pressing and getting that little circle swirl in the middle to give that effect of the center of the flower. Then I am adding some leafy type shapes. I've used the light purple there, and then I thought, oh, it doesn't really show up against the pink, so I did a darker one beside it, which shows up much better against that pink background. And then I will double dip the beads like I did with the flower, because you just see it better than when it's they just look nicer than the plain, you know, singular coloured ones. So I'll pat these out. These are sort of leafy petal shapes. I don't even know what I was thinking with these. They're just excuse me, an afterthought nail filler. Just filling up some space on the nail. So they're the kind of petals, aren't they? Yeah. But they kind of leaf shape too. I don't know. Let's call them leaf. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Oh, my throat. Let's just call them leaves, shall we? We'll call them leaves. And I'm going to add one more towards that cuticle area, because that bit looked a bit empty. So just adding one up there. And again, I'm just using my brush. Excuse me. I really should wait for the acrylic to polymerize. Oh my gosh, why can't I say it? I can't say it. I can't speak today. Polymerize. There we go. I said it. Yeah. Before I start patting into it, because it's much easier when it's sort of stiffened up a little bit. But anywho, so here is the finished set. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. I hope you like this set. If you have not already done so, please go ahead and click that subscribe button, click like if you've enjoyed this video in any way, shape or form, and thank you for spending your most precious time with me. You are most welcome to leave me a comment. That's all I've got for this time, peeps. You take care now, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Bye for now.
Someday soon I'm gonna make it.